This is the Louie Tee Network.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie Tee? Welcome to lockdown coverage week number 15 in the National Football League. The Oakland Raiders, San Diego Superchargers, AFC West family business. And to the Raiders I say, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. The playoffs have missed you. Where you been? It's been too long, man. It's been way too long. With a win, the Raiders would clinch their first playoff berth since their Super Bowl season of 2002. With a loss, and let's not forget, with the Chiefs losing earlier in the day to the Tennessee Titans, a win would then give the Raiders back the first spot in the AFC West division. So, in essence, you go from the 5th seed having to play a road playoff game in Wild Card Weekend to having a first round bye as the 2 seed and getting a home playoff game coming off that bye. That's the difference between winning and losing the AFC West this season. And so for the Raiders, a lot at stake in this ball game on the road against a tough Chargers team that, let's face it, their season hasn't gone the way that they want it to. A lot of rumors as to whether this team is going to be in L.A. or San Diego next year. A lot of rumors as to whether their head coach Mike McCoy is going to be back or not. You're without your running back Melvin Gordon III. Phillip Rivers has been struggling mightily over the last month or so, and yet it's family business. All bets are off. Still a dangerous football team. So this is going to be a good football game regardless of what the records say. Raiders looking to get to 11-3, clinch the playoff berth, get back into first place in the AFC West, and looking to move to the number 2 seed all in one fell swoop. Meanwhile, the Chargers just looking to spoil the Raiders' party. Let's go and break this game down. But first, we must introduce all of the different social media platforms. If you haven't already subscribed to Louie Tee Network, I'm not going to give you the whole spiel. Go ahead and subscribe to Louie Tee Network for more great content in 2016 and beyond. Also, I'm on Twitter. @InTheLabRoom is the Twitter handle. Go ahead and handle that. Follow me on Twitter. And I'm also on Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. Go ahead and like the Facebook page. All my social media platforms right up there in the box above, scrolling across the screen so you can't miss them. So handle that. Like the Facebook page. Follow me on Twitter. And most importantly, subscribe to the Louie Tee Network on YouTube. That being said, let's jump into this breakdown. We start with the Raiders, who got it done in this game, 19-16 over the San Diego Chargers. Hard-fought game. The Raiders made plays at the very end. It was a sloppy contest, a lot of fumbles by both teams, drop passes, you name it. It was in this football game. You don't get 19-16 from two teams that have high-octane offenses unless there's some things going awry throughout the course of the game. Raiders give up a big ball, and that's something they need to eliminate. Can't give up big chunk plays defensively. You want to make teams work for it because in this league, it's tough to go 13 plays without a hiccup, without a holding penalty, without a false start, without a pass being batted, without something going wrong on your drive to mess it up and force you to either have to kick a field goal or punt the football. So don't give up big chunk plays like you did on the first possession to Travis Benjamin for a touchdown. Other than that, the Raiders played solid defense throughout the course of this game, made the Chargers work for everything. They got after Phillip Rivers, sacked him a ton of times in this game, 2 sacks on the day for Bruce Irvin. They got after Phillip Rivers. They did a good job of making him uncomfortable, making him less than ideal for him. D'Amico Autry with a sack as well. Like I said, they got after Phillip Rivers in this football game. The thing that I was the most impressed with the Raiders in this football game was the fact that they ran it so effectively. This is a Chargers team. They're not bad on defense. And I thought they ran the football very effectively. Now, when they needed to run it in the red zone, they struggled in this game. But make no mistake about it, there was a drive right before the half, and to me, this was the most critical drive of the game. Chargers take the lead 10-3, and the Raiders are trailing, and they get the football back right before the half, and you're thinking to yourself, let's see what the Raiders do. They get the ball after the half, so if they can make something happen here, even a field goal, you feel good going into halftime. You get it after the halftime break, you see what happens, and they rammed it right down the throats of the Chargers, running it at will. They had 54 rushing yards on that drive, and it was then capped off by Derek Carr to Crabtree touchdown. Beautiful footwork by Krabs to get his feet down in the end zone and tie the game up at 10. And to me, that was the defining drive of the game for me, because after that, the Raiders got the football and they double dipped in the second half. So they scored a touchdown to end the first half. They get it back and get a field goal to take the lead at 13-10. Now, the Chargers will ultimately take the lead later on in the game on a Hunter Henry touchdown, but that was a critical sequence of events there that allowed the Raiders to go from trailing by 7, 10-3, to up 13-3 without the Chargers even touching the football again. I mean, if you want to count the last little one run play they ran right before the half, go right ahead, be my guest. But the Chargers essentially didn't have the football with a chance to score, and the Raiders scored 10 unanswered points in that little window and took the lead, and that was huge in my mind. And it showed me a little something, because you had a really good contest rushing the football. Latavius Murray did some really good things running the football. He did have the fumble. You want to, again, eliminate. He had actually 2 fumbles. One went out of bounds. The other was recovered by the Chargers. You want to eliminate that from the game. Obviously, you don't want those mistakes moving forward. But he ran it effectively. I was impressed with Washington. He ran the football. Dwayne Washington ran it really, Washington ran it very effectively in this game. So I thought the running game was something that I took away from this game, saying that's impressive. Like to see more of that moving forward, because, you know, Derek Carr still nursing the finger. You don't want to have to put a lot of the onus on him. He's still not getting under the center, so not the entire playbook. That's why it's important for the Raiders to try to get this by. Give Derek Carr a little time to heal up, get that finger right so that he can get back under center, so that the full playbook is at the mercy of the Raiders, and they can use everything that they want to do, set up everything, set up play action fake, all of those things by getting under center. So you want to have that full playbook on display if you're the Raiders, and have that available to you. So if you can get that first round bye, all more important to have all hands on deck. And this is a big win. They did something at the end of this game that they've done well this season, as generate turnovers. Especially at opportune times. That was a big forced fumble of Farrow, the Chargers running back. Again, at a crucial time in the game. You were down 16-13 after the Chargers had taken the lead on the Hunter Henry touchdown, missed the extra point, and so you get the field goal there. You'd love to see the Raiders cash in 7 there. I mean, really, really hurt them there. That you want to turn the football over deep in your own territory, you got to pay for that. Get 7 there. Chargers defense stood up strong and didn't allow you to get in, so you take the field goal, knock the game up at 16, drive it right back down the field later on in the game, take the lead 19-16, and then you turn to the defense and you say, hey, go after Phillip Rivers, put this game away. Bruce Irvin and company do exactly that, and you win the football game 19-16. Raiders get it done. Again, wasn't pretty, doesn't need to be. It was gritty, it was a W, and it was well needed, and it clinches your first playoff berth since 2002. Welcome back to the postseason, Oakland Raiders. For the Chargers, more of the same. Really disappointing outcome. You're in the ball game, you have opportunities, you miss an extra point. Too many mistakes. You miss an extra point. You have opportunities. You did a good job after the turnover. And again, another fumble in your own territory, giving up points. More mistakes by this Chargers football team. Phillip Rivers with another interception thrown in this football game, but that was late when the game was basically in the balance, and he had to throw it up. You can't take a sack there, 4th down. You got to do something. Gets picked off there. But bottom line, you had opportunities in this game. Had opportunities. You let them slip through your fingers. And the report and word out on the street is Mike McCoy is going to be canned. And they had already said about a month and a half ago that the end of this season was going to determine his fate. If they finished up strong, he had a chance to keep his job. If he didn't, he was probably going to be looking for work elsewhere. And we've seen the Chargers struggle down the stretch, haven't been able to win games, pretty much like they've done all season long, find ways to lose instead of finding ways to win. And they did that again in this game. They just didn't get it done. And I like Hunter Henry, though. There are some bright spots. Kyle Emanuel was a man amongst boys in this football game. He played his ass off, especially on that goal line stand. Two of those tackles down there were all Kyle Emanuel. He was all over the football field. I like that guy. I like him a lot. I like a lot of these pieces on this Chargers football team on both sides of the ball. I think you got a lot of stuff to work with. It's all about getting the right coach, right philosophy in here. Hunter Henry is a stud at the tight end position. OG85 might be done, but you've got a guy that's going to slide in and make a seamless transition to the guy at the tight end position. He's going to be just fine. Another touchdown grab for him. And I think you got a lot of stuff there in San Diego to work with, but you have to change the mindset of this Chargers team because right now they're losers. And they find ways to lose instead of creating and inventing ways to win. And this is something that the Raiders had to learn how to do. And it's something that the Chargers are going to have to learn how to do all over again, and that's win football games. These are games that the Raiders used to lose a season ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Now they're winning these games, and now the Chargers are finding ways to lose these games against the Raiders. And so it's a mindset. And I think that's part of the reason Mike McCoy must go in San Diego, and I'm hearing that from a lot of fans, is that it's the mindset that he's instilling in this team. They're not looking to win. They're looking for excuses as to how to lose football games, and they need to change the whole mindset of that Chargers organization, and it looks like they're not going to be in San Diego much longer. Is it me, or was this a Raiders home game? I'm just checking. I need to know because it seemed like the Raiders came in and took over the damn stadium. And if that's the case, that's why you can't be in San Diego anymore. You got to go to Los Angeles. That didn't make any sense. It sounded like a Raiders home game. They did a little pan shot around the stadium, and all I saw were silver and black jerseys. I don't know about you. We might have seen two different things. We might have heard two different things. I just felt like I was watching a Raiders home game. It said San Diego Chargers on the field, but it felt like I was watching a Raiders home game. I don't know about you, but again, I'm just talking about from my experience, from my point of view, from my vantage point, it just seemed like a Raiders home game. I don't know. You can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but in any event, the Chargers found a way to lose this game, much like they've done all season long. The defense played well enough to win. Again, the offense started out fast, fizzled out, flamed out in the second half. A lot of drop passes, a lot of underneath stuff. I thought they should have tried to test the Raiders deep like they did early in the game, push the football down the field. I think there were too many instances where you're in 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, and you're throwing underneath the sticks, and the Raiders are making great tackles to keep you short of the first down. There's no reason for that. There's no reason to run a route short of the sticks on 3rd and 4, short of the sticks on 3rd and 3, and you ended up short of the first down and having to punt. And I just thought that the Chargers they weren't aggressive enough in this game, and it cost them, and they end up losing this football game 19-16. Raiders get it done. Sebastian Janikowski comes up huge, 4 field goals in the win for the Raiders. Chargers special teams missing another extra point. They just find ways to not get it done. It's a shame, but that's been the story of the Chargers this season as they fall to 5-9 on the season. Raiders move to 11-3, sole possession of first place in the AFC West, as well as overtaking that 2 seed now. So from 5, they go back up to the 2 seed, first round bye in hand. They just got to find a way to win out. Got a tough stretch to finish up at Denver in Week 17, home for the Colts, who just destroyed the Minnesota Vikings in their building. So they're not afraid to go into somebody's house and disrespect them. Just because you clinched a playoff berth doesn't mean you should be content. You should have your eyes on a much larger prize, getting that first round bye and winning the AFC West. Let's see what you guys have to say about the Raiders getting it done 19-16 and clinching the division. Getting ready for the Carolina versus Skins game should be a good one. Go R. Kelly. That's from Archangel. Bernard543 says, first playoff berth since 02 feels so damn good. I know you do, man. I'm happy for you guys. I really am, man. I really am. Moving right along, next comment. I break for rappers says, do you think the Chargers' use of timeouts is the reason they lost these past few games? And if you're out there and you're watching this and you got a comment, make sure you use the hashtag #LouieTeeLive to have your comment read. It's frustrating to see that late in this ball game, the Chargers didn't have any timeouts left. They had one timeout remaining after the Raiders scored to go up 19-16, and it's just one of those situations where you just Mike McCoy is in hot water, and that's part of the problem with him is game management, when to challenge, when not to challenge, when to use a timeout, when not to use a timeout, when to go for it on fourth down, when not to go for it on fourth down, when to go for it on for two. These are all situations where you have to have the pulse of the team, and sometimes I don't know if Mike McCoy not only has the pulse of the team, but the pulse of the game, and that's all a part of being a head coach in this league, and I think Mike McCoy has struggled with that at times this season. So yes, usage of timeouts in the second half can and will cost you games if not done correctly. Archangel says, I'm off of work the next 2 days so I can actually sit back and stay up as late as I want to and actually enjoy the game. That's good, man. Enjoy this game. Hopefully it's a Redskin win. I know that much. Archangel says, who is the biggest threat to the Patriots now? Who do you think? I think both conferences are wide open. I think the Patriots don't have anything sewn up. No one should be afraid of them. The Raiders are just as dangerous as the Chiefs are. The Steelers, to me, you know how I feel about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I still think the Pittsburgh Steelers are the biggest threat to the Patriots in the AFC. But again, anybody can be a threat to the Patriots because I think it's that wide open. I don't think the Patriots are a dominant football team, even though I will say this. The Patriots have been playing some damn good football of late. They look a little scary, but we'll see what happens. I still think they're vulnerable come playoff time. Archangel says, in the AFC, the biggest threat to the Patriots, and I just told you who that was. I break for Rapper says, what do you think about the Chargers losing these past few games the same way because of an interception? I've talked about Phillip Rivers. They didn't lose this game because of an interception. That interception late was like a desperation throw. But we've talked about Phillip Rivers and his struggles over the last couple of weeks. They lost this game because of the inability to get a stop late in the game. They are up 16-13. You fumble the football away. That gives away a field goal. The defense came out and got a stop and held them to a field goal, which was a win for you there. But then you get the football back. You do nothing. You give it right back to the Raiders, and you let them go right down the field and get a field goal. And then you get the ball back again, and you do nothing again. The offense was the problem. And that's frustrating. It really is. It really is because you think with Phillip Rivers, you got a shot. But this season, that hasn't been the case. Phillip Rivers late in the game has been a disaster for this Chargers football team. Archangel says, you must mean business tonight, Lou. You're in all black, ready for a Carolina Merkin tonight, huh? Hashtag no F's given. Hey, look, man. I'm trying to do these boys, do them the right way, man. They in the way. I need it tonight. I need it in the worst way. So I'm trying to be a pallbearer for me and bury him tonight. It's a revenge game for us. I didn't like the way they disrespected us last year, but it's more about just winning. I don't really give a damn if we win by 1 or 21. I just want to win. But Art543 says the Raiders D somehow, some way play really well in the fourth quarter. That's when it matters most. That's winning time. Raiders have done that this season, and that's why they're 11-3 right now. They've gotten it done. They haven't been great on defense all season long, but they've been great when they needed to be great, and that's the mark of a good football team. They just find a way to win. That's all that matters. Eagle Speed is a nerd says, if the Chargers had no injuries, what would their record be? I don't know, because Phillip Rivers still has turned the football over too much this season. And maybe with better options out there, maybe with Keenan Allen still out there, maybe with guys not down, he's better. Maybe that's the case. Maybe with Stevie Johnson out there, he's not throwing interceptions. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to that question. I break for Rapper says, it's a shame that the defense keeps the Chargers in the game, but the offense couldn't capitalize. And like I said, that's been the problem with the Chargers all season long is you can't get everybody on board. Either the offense is playing really well and the defense isn't, or the defense is playing really well and the offense isn't. It's just been really frustrating. They've turned it over. They've made mistakes. They haven't capitalized off of opportunities, and they did it again in this game. Bernard543 says, with the regular season coming to an end, how surprised are you with what the Raiders have done this year? Very surprised. I thought the Raiders could compete for a playoff spot, but I didn't think they could be 11-3, one of the best records in all of the National Football League, and vying for a first-round bye. never thought that would be possible this season. I knew they were coming. I knew they were building something in Oakland, but I didn't know they were building it this fast and that they'd be able to have the good fortune this year. They haven't really been bitten by the injury bug. They've had a lot of fortunate bounces go their way. They've done some things. They've won some close games, 2-point conversions that have went their way. I mean, week 1, Crabtree one-hands a 2-point conversion and you win a game where your coach rolls the dice, goes for 2. That easily could have been an incomplete pass, and Crabtree one-hands it and you win the football game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. I mean, the Buccaneers could have won that game easily. You go to overtime, you beat them. There's so many games the Raiders have won this year where the ball just bounced their way. They made plays. Things went their way, and that's how it has to be. Sometimes luck is involved, and you need luck on your side, and the Raiders have been very fortunate this season as well. Bernard543 says, there's going to be no difference fan-wise if the Chargers move to L.A. You might be right. But in L.A., they do support when you win. If the Chargers can win, they'll show up. They'll show up. Caleb Hazard says, Chargers had to go silent count because of the noise. I saw that. I saw the guard look over to Phillip Rivers and tap the center. Again, that shows you how bad it was. Well, you got to go silent snap at home. That's ridiculous. I saw that. Hazard, I saw that. Eagle Speed is a nerd says, Raiders secondary is the only thing keeping them back from a Super Bowl, in my opinion. With a good pass rush, you can negate a secondary that's a little suspect. So if they keep getting pressure like they've been doing over the last month, they'll be just fine in that secondary. Bernard543 says, hey, I'm rooting for your Redskins today, Louie. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Justin Varnett says, how important is it for Bruce Irvin to be getting hot at the right time? It is more important than you could ever imagine, because if you get Khalil Mack on one side doing what he's done over the final half of the season, and you get Bruce Irvin starting to rev it up like you saw in this game with 2 sacks, this is going to make it tougher to single up or double team Khalil Mack, because you got to worry about Irvin on the other side. And all of a sudden now, if you're getting pressure up front, we just talked about the secondary and how that's a concern for the Raiders. If you've got 2 guys getting after the quarterback, it's going to make that secondary less vulnerable to giving up plays, because you're going to have to work quicker and you're going to have to get the ball out of your hands. Bruce Irvin is the key to me. He's the X factor up front in that front 7. We know Mack is a beast. If you can get something out of Bruce Irvin, this could be a game changer for the Raiders in the postseason. Enrique Valencia says, is Carr out of the MVP discussion? For me, he is, because of the recent slump. It's not necessarily a slump, just he's doing enough to help his team win. The finger really impacted him. It's hard to really say what the MVP voters are looking at, what they're taking into consideration. Raiders are 11-3. They got a chance to get the number 2 seed. That's got to count for something, so I don't think Carr is out of it just yet. And Caleb Hazard says, how much do you think Derek Carr not being able to take snaps under center will affect the last 2 games? A bunch. And that's why I said this first round bye is crucial to the Raiders, because if you can get it, you give Carr a chance to heal up, and maybe you get a large portion of your playbook back, because you can't run play action fake. Not the kind you want where you turn your back and suck the linebackers up the way that you want. Those explosive chunk plays we saw from the Raiders earlier in the season when this offense was rolling, that's because you had the ability to run play action fake and to set things up with the run game. You can't do that when you're only getting snaps from shotgun. So it's big. It's a big deal. And it could hurt you in these final 2 games. It may not. We'll see. But come playoff time, it's important that he's able to get under center. And getting a first-round bye would do a lot and it'd be a huge step towards the Raiders being able to get Carr under the center and maybe run some plays from under center, which will then allow you to set up some plays off of your under center plays, like play action fake and bootlegs and things of that nature that the Raiders like to do with Derek Carr. Bernard543 says, what's your opinion on Aldon Smith, and do you think he comes back this season? I think Roger Goodell is going to jerk him around. I could honestly say that I don't think he's going to be back this season. He'll probably be back next season, but I think Roger's going to take his time in evaluating. I know he didn't meet with the NFL brass about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. But like I said, I expect Raj to drag his feet on this because he's had so many opportunities. They're going to make him wait and sweat, and then they're going to let him back in. I don't foresee Aldon Smith being able to help this Raiders team down the stretch and into the postseason this year. But that's just my honest opinion. I can say that, and then tomorrow he's reinstated. But I just see Roger Goodell really making him wait on this one. I don't see him getting a chance to come back and help the Raiders this season. But that's going to do it for this breakdown. Raiders clinch a playoff berth with the 19-16 win over the Chargers, get to 11-3, take sole possession of first place, and now they have the outcome of their season in their hands. All they got to do is win, and they're the number 2 seed in the AFC playoffs. And depending on what the Patriots do, who knows? You could sneak the number 1 seed. I'm just saying Raiders have everything they want right in front of them after getting this win and the Chiefs losing to the Tennessee Titans. It's going to do it for your man, Louie T. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on lockdown coverage. Raiders get it done, 19-16. It's 11-3 on the season. Chargers find another way to lose, fall to 5-9 on the season. Remember, we're changing the game one live feed at a time. That's going to do it for lockdown coverage in week number 15. Every game has been covered from the Sunday slate. Now, we turn our attention to Monday Night Football, Carolina Panthers at the Washington Redskins. I'll see you for the conclusion of that game. You know we're going to break it down. Monday Night Football overtime, as only we know how. I'll see you at the conclusion of the Monday night game. Have a good one. Enjoy the game. You know I will, especially if it's a Redskins victory. I'll see you then. Have a good one.